What's going on? It's your boy Cuban Mic. You listen to 102.9 Tape Deck. Welcome. Tonight, I think after this show, this probably gonna be one of my favorite episodes. I'm gonna call it out. This is gonna be probably one of my favorite episodes that I've ever done. I'm trying to go deep here, y'all. On my last episode, I was able to have a lady by the name of Lucia O'Kenny, and she was able to share her story and her experience, how she was able to escape Sudan and came to America, to go for the American dream. And this was back in the gala that I went to a couple of months ago. When I went to this gala, I also met this young lady, and I was able to have a conversation with her. And just from the little she told me when I went to this gala, I was marveled. I was emotional. I was pretty much all over the place because just from the little that she told me, she's a perfect example of what a true survivor is, what redemption is, and what it's like not to quit. She came all the way to New Hampshire. She got stuck in crazy traffic. How was the traffic?
It was so bad, though.
But she was able to commit herself to come over here, and I thank you. 100 thanks for coming to my show.
My pleasure.
I'm gonna get right to it. This young lady goes by the name Coco Ramazani. Please tell me I got the last name right. Did I got it right?
Oh, perfect.
Thank you.
Best.
Coco Ramazani.
Yes.
And she has a book out. The book, it came out in 2013, and it was called Tell This to My Mother. I spoke to you, Coco, behind the scenes, and, I wanted to give you an apology because I really, really tried my best to complete this book, and I couldn't because, I had a little health issue, and I had to take care of my body. But just from what I read, you warned me that it was going to be very intense, and intense is an understatement.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you told me it was an understatement, and, I'm going to get through it. And once I finish reading this book, I'm going to go back to it and just I'll do my own recap on it. But from what I've got from this book, thank you for telling your story from what I'm getting and being such a courageous young lady. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful, Michael. Very, very wonderful. And I survived the traffic, so that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
I made it.
Yeah, you made it. You made it. I'm going to just read, I don't want to read the whole back of the book, but one paragraph that really caught my eyes, I'll read it right now. And the book, Tell This to My Mother, is written by Joseph E. What is his last name? Because I don't want to butcher. I'm gonna butcher his name just by looking at it. But I know it's Joseph E.
Mwantuali.
Mwantuali. Okay. Where is he from?
He's from Congo also.
Congo also?
Yeah.
Okay. So in this book, I'll read one part of the paragraph. It is told by Coco Ramazani, an orphan who was tricked into the rebellion and left to die in a military camp filled with thousands of drugged foreign soldiers. She escaped to America, where she is now fighting for her life. You want to get the rest of the information? I recommend you to please get this book. It is very informative. Coco.
Yes.
Why name the title Tell This to My Mother?
I grew up without my parents. My father was a businessman, very successful businessman. My mom was only a staying-home mom, but my father had a lot of wives. He practiced polygamy, and one day in business trip, he got involved in car accident. Mm-hmm. So he lost his life. And he was in that trip with his fifth wife, because my mom was the third wife, and my father was in that trip with his fifth wife. So when he died, unexpected like that, we were all little children. So many of us, just small children left behind. So I didn't have a chance to know my mother anymore. I didn't have a chance to know my father because the culture at that time really was, we'll get to the point when the culture changed. But the culture in Congo and most of Africa, we practice patriarchal system or patriarchal culture. So kids belong to the father. So when our father died, we were given to our father's family, which we couldn't stay in the same house anymore because our house that we were born in was a big house. Our father had like a compound, and that's where he was doing his business. So our mothers were sent away from their family, and all children were given to other family members, myself included. I was given to one of my half sister who was married not too far from the village where we were born in. I came to learn that she was my sister when it was time for me to go to school. All that time I thought that she was my mother. But I think she felt the obligation at that time now to tell me that she wasn't my mother. And we were in Bukavu at that time because she was running away from her husband since she was abused in that marriage. I think she felt others who I didn't know, like other siblings that I didn't know, were gonna, like welcome me. Oh, our sister, our sister. And it was gonna look just awkward. That's when she decided to tell me that she was my sister. She wasn't my mother. So at that moment, I started questioning where was my mother. So then they told me now mom left, mom went to her family, and the dad died. That's when I knew that my father died. So when our father died, there was only 4 children who were married, who were adult. The rest, we were all small. So when they took me to school, that the time I knew that my mom wasn't around and my father wasn't around. So when it came now to the time of writing my story, I was at work now, and I was working in politics at that time. During the war in 1999, and we were attacked. So when we were attacked, we had some soldiers. They were foreigner soldiers from Uganda, and this young boy, I called him Kadogo in the book because I really didn't know his name. So I just called him Kadogo. Kadogo, that is Swahili word, which is like young. That would mean Kadogo. So I used to call him just Kadogo, and he was most of the time at my door and that because I was working with a very high rank person, like the president. So that day we got attacked and by the soldiers from Rwanda, and we were in Kisangani, outside of my hometown. So he got hit, and when he got hit like that with, I don't know if it was bomb or what, so he was so hurt. So when they brought him where we were, I saw it was him. So I ran and I hold him. And then when I was holding him, because I knew now it was him, he was screaming, crying for his mother. He was crying for his mother. So at that moment, it just hit me so hard, the emotion, because it just took me to think of my own mother, and also thinking if I die here, what will happen also to me. So as he was calling for his mother like that, and he was dying, really. The doctor or the nurse who was helping him, he was really saying he wasn't going to make it. So in that screaming, mom, mom, I don't know how I tried to communicate with him. I don't know, like to tell something to my mother, like to give him a little message to tell to my mother, because my mother never left my mind ever. So that's how I came up with that title. I communicated that with Dr. Joseph when I was giving the material down, and he agreed that that was going to be a good title for the book.
Wow. Wow. That is something. When you mentioned the young kid, well, but I want to talk about the young kid for a quick second, because that's something just came through my mind. But I want to be educated a little bit. In '99, there was a war with Congo, and they were going to war with who? Because I'm not familiar with that war.
The war, that was the second war.
Yeah.
We had the first war in 1996 between Congo and Rwanda. So the Rwandese government attacked our country, my country, and the war started in my hometown, Bukavu. And the reason it started in my hometown because we had refugees from Rwanda at that time. The Hutu refugee were running away from during the genocide.
Yeah.
So when our former president, who was Mobutu, he was very sick. He couldn't fight, really. He was fighting cancer. And that was a good opportunity for Rwanda to attack us because our president was weak. He was sick.
Yeah.
So the army did really his best. They were fighting. Our army before 1996 was the most strong army in entire Africa. Everyone was afraid of us. So we never really experienced war since I was born myself. We never experienced war until 1994 when I was in Rwanda. I was there during the genocide. And then the first war I experienced was in 1996 in my country now and in my hometown. So that when the president for Rwanda decided to attack us because he was following the Hutu refugees who were in our hometown. They were in Bukavu and Goma. So that was the first war. And then the second war started 2 years after, in 1998, because during that first war, Mobutu lost. He was taken in exile to Morocco, and that's where he lost his life. We had a new president who was Kabila. But just after 1 year, the second war started in 1998 now. Because during the 1996, I ran away. I went to Kenya. And I was there for 1 year and several months, almost 2 years. After that, I decided to go back again home. And just after a short period of time, the second war started. And because I don't know what happened to them in the capital, because I don't live in the capital and I don't like capitals.
Yeah.
It's too crowded for me. I was born in a small town and I love that lifestyle. Yeah.
That explains why you like Manchester.
That's why I love Manchester, because it's
a real
small.
town.
Yes, that's the reason.
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah.
'Cause last time, when we hung out the last time, I was so upset because everything was closed on a daggone Monday. I'm
I remember that.
I don't like it here.
I remember that.
It was
I
so
remember
upsetting.
that.
It was like closed, up and closed,
Yeah,
up
we
and
couldn't
closed.
find a place to eat.
We had to walk like 3 miles almost to get a decent
Yes.
appetizer.
Yes, that's Manchester. You know, Monday usually some stuff are closed, so there's no food really everywhere.
Yeah, how dare you take a break on a Monday?
I know.
Take it on a Sunday.
No, Sunday they like to eat.
Yeah.
But Monday it's like, okay, there's no hungry people.
Yeah, we get hungry. We're especially hungry on a Monday, those jerks. I want to speak to your governor and your mayor about
I
this.
know, definitely you can do that. So anyway, that second war was now really a bad one because it was now like between just misunderstanding of one tribe to another tribe. And the president, like, was now the new president was Kabila, kicked them out because they were mostly Rwandese soldiers. Congolese soldiers were not really able to fight. So the new president came, or the rebel president came, with the Rwandese soldiers and Ugandan soldiers. So he was backed by Ugandan government and the Rwandese government. And all the refugee camp were now empty because they were killed, most of them, and others ran away in the forest. So the new government and the former president, Mobutu, was in power for more than 30 years. I didn't know another president since I was born in Congo.
Yeah.
He was the only president I knew. So that's what the situation really started, like the second war began, because Kabila, after he was backed by Rwandese and they were in the capital, it's like the transition moment, they didn't understand each other. He gave them 24 hours to leave, to go back to their countries, to Uganda and Rwanda. And we have, in Congo, we have a tribe that called Banyamulenge. That is a little story, like the history of Congo. The Banyamulenge live more with us in East. And who are Banyamulenge? Banyamulenge are refugees who came probably to Congo, Zaire, at that time in 1950-something. They were Rwandese, fighting between them again, Hutu and Tutsi. And those are Tutsi who ran away from Rwanda at that time during another genocide happened. And they were refugees again in our home country. And then they stay there forever. So they had that mountain called Mulenge. So they call themselves the Banyamulenge. And those are the people Rwanda used to fight our former president, who was Mobutu, and also the new president, who was Kabila, Laurent Désiré Kabila. So the war became so complex because the new president, he was now fighting with the soldiers who put him in power. So when they left, those Rwandese soldiers who were, they were Banyamulenge, they went back to Rwanda. So a few days or a few months again later, they came back. That's when now the second war started in 1998.
That's a lot.
Yes.
That is a lot to take it. That is a lot.
It was very complex war.
Yeah.
And until today, we still have that war. So the war started in 1996 until today.
So it's still, so after 20 plus years, they're still going at it.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So, has there been any attempt to make some kind of peace offering or any way to meet down the middle? Or they just said, we're just going to keep doing it until the enemy gets exterminated? Has there been any?
I wish they could get to that really point, but the curse the Congo has is the natural resources that we have.
So they want your resources?
Yeah, the natural resources that we have, that is the reason we have a war. The former president, Mobutu Sese Seko, who was in power for more than 30 years, he was preventing the international corporations to get, the natural resources that we have.
Yeah.
But since he was sick and he died after that in Morocco, so every president who is now in power, he must just work for corporations. The war in Congo or Zaire, it was Zaire before, and then they changed the name to Congo. It's not really between Congolese themselves. It's the war from outside, and the fight is not really about power. The fight is about natural resources, the mineral resources that we have. If you see everything we use, sometimes I cry when I go to my speaking, because even the phone that I hold, that's my blood. I remember I was hurt for just other people to hold this phone. Even refrigerator, computer, the microphone, any electronic that you have in your house, the material come from Congo, the coltan and any material that they use to make those electronics. So the war in Congo is not really between Congolese. Congolese don't fight between them, even if we are more than 400 tribes, but we don't fight. We had a president who really united the country, and Congolese is the Congolese anywhere. You can live anywhere you want. You can build your house in any state. So as long as you are Congolese, you are free to live anywhere you want.
So in other words, there could be disagreement, but it's like no civil war or disagreement to the point there'll be like bloodshed.
That's correct.
There's some sort of unification within the Congolese.
Yeah, that's correct.
It's other entities and other people from the other side of the world that try to invade and try to bring harm to your village and your tribe.
That's correct.
Okay.
Let's say today you can read in the news that Rwanda is now a producer of gold and coltan. They don't have anything. I lived in Rwanda for several years before the genocide war. And the only thing that Rwanda used to produce or to be known as a producer of was coffee, banana, and potatoes. Even avocados, they started getting, the grain from Congo. And we used to laugh at them, when they were picking up the avocados, and then they went to plant them. Today, they have avocados. It's just like today, they have chimpanzee. They didn't have that before. They got that from Congo. So the natural resources that we have in the country became like a curse to Congolese people. And that is the main reason we have a war.
All right. I want to go back about the young kid. What was the nickname you called him because he was a young kid?
Kadogo.
Kadogo.
Yeah.
Give or take, how young was the kid?
What's that?
Give or take, how old was the soldier? How old was the kid?
Oh, it was really a problem. Maybe he was 9 or 10.
9-year-old soldier, right?
Yes.
So, okay, so I read, when I read the back of the book, the guy who was giving the review, Felix Copto, he said it was something to the extent of the movie Blood Diamonds.
Yes.
So I have to ask this because you come from that experience. You have actual guerrilla soldiers, rebels, actually trained these young kids, damn near in their not even teenagers, pretty much teaching them how to kill.
Yes, that's true. And that's why that movie is really related to the situation in Congo, because it was really the first time for me myself to see children holding guns.
And they're like big guns, like AK,
big,
military.
big guns, yes, really military guns. It was the first time for me, which was really traumatized. I was in Rwanda during the war, like the genocide war. I didn't see children fighting. It was adults were fighting. And it was the fight between two tribes only, Tutsi and Hutu. And if you read in the book, I was able to save one of my friend. I didn't save my others, friends, other girls, but I was able to save one of my friend who was a mother of two. I took her to my country. I claimed her children as my children, which I was even at age that I couldn't have those two children. But when you try to save life, you can do anything. And she was my friend. She was just a teacher. She was Tutsi. I didn't see why she should die just because she was Tutsi.
Yeah.
She was a teacher. Her husband was a nurse, and we were neighbors. So that I took her to my country, and because she was at our house when we were just waiting to be evacuated. So she didn't want to leave us anymore. I'm sure she knew that all foreigners are supposed to leave because at that time each ambassador needed to take his people, each ambassador.
Yeah.
So that was really like the order from the Rwandese government that everybody who is not Rwandese need to leave because the war became so bad and everybody need to leave. That when she came to stay with us and we were able to take her home. If you read that chapter, how I describe the way I took her, it's very sad how you can do whatever you can to save somebody because I wrapped her in the mattress to hide her because even that she was in our bus as like a Zairian bus, and the way it was is each country need to escort his people with the bus and put the flag of their country on the bus. Yeah. Just to tell the killers that these are foreigners are leaving. But since she was Tutsi, we need to cover her again because those killers, we stopped at many places and they were coming in the bus to check if there was no Tutsi in there, and if they find a Tutsi, that person was killed. Right there in front of everybody. So that's why my sister and I we decided to wrap her in the mattress that was in there. I'm sure the driver of the bus saw I was wrapping her in the mattress, but he remained quiet, which was very, very helpful. However, I came to learn that driver didn't survive. When he was going back, he got killed. I don't know why he got killed.
Yeah. Wow. You know what? There's a lot for me to take in right now. I'm going to go to a quick PSA right now, and I'm going to continue on with Miss Coco. Bear with me, y'all. 102.9, Tape Deck, Cuban Mic. Stay tuned.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
All right, yo, what's going on? We back. I got Miss Coco Ramazani in the building. How you feel, girl? You feel comfortable? You good out here?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right, we still here. I will
Yes.
still vibing here, man. Because I don't want to make this all gloomy. All right, because this is all about redemption and coming back and telling the truth. I don't think I'm. We live in a world right now when people speak, it's like I want to speak my truth, or this is the truth. And to my audience that is listening to me right now, these are the trials and tribulation that goes out like outside of the country, and for whatever reason we don't get this type of coverage. Doesn't get it. I have my own conspiracy or whatever on why they don't show these kind of stories in the mainstream, but these kind of things happen in the other side of the world, and I thank Coco for coming to my show and telling your story and the truth about your trials and tribulation, Coco. Thank you again.
You are welcome, Michael.
Yeah. One of the things I got when I read the book, when you came, well, before I get there, I wanted to know how you were able to leave the situation that you left to come to the States.
Oh, it's a really tough question, that. But, Congolese, and just for myself, I can say, we don't really leave our country for no reason.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in high school, I went to just a girls' school, and it was a Catholic school. I never really studied with the boys until I went to college.
Mm-hmm.
So in elementary school, I was in Catholic school, just girls' school. And when I went to high school, I was admitted to another girls' school. And the way the system works in Congo is you pass an exam, and then if you pass that exam, you pick any school that you want to go to. So I went only to two schools.
Yeah.
Only two schools. Then I went to college. That's when I went now to another two schools, and that was it. So at that time, really in high school, I hated English class, which means I never really plan on leaving my country ever, or leave the continent of Africa. I love Africa, and I miss it daily.
Yeah.
But when, excuse me, when the war started in 1996, as I said before, I ran to save myself to Kenya. And then after, when Mobutu was ousted,
Yeah.
I went back, and I put myself again back in school. I started studying computer, so I could look for a job just to put myself on the market, because I need to support myself. As I said before, I grew up without parents, so those who were taking care of me and my other siblings were our old siblings, like sisters and one of our brother. But unfortunately, I lost that brother in 1990. He died from illness that he was poisoned at workplace by his colleague due to just the position he was working at post office. So life wasn't that easy, and I need to survive. And I was the kind of a girl, I started singing in church since I was 7. I started singing in church. I am a Pentecostal, Protestant.
Mm-hmm.
And my voice, I'm petite, but the voice usually comes out of me when I'm singing. It's just so big. And I was very, very just a vocal person in the entire town. If you go to Bukavu, you just say the name of Coco, everybody will tell you that, yeah, I know her. So I was kind of famous in just singing, things like that. So supporting myself was not that easy financially. It was hard because my father had 22 children.
Whoa.
I came to learn that when I was writing now,
That's like a
the
football
book.
team.
Yeah, 22 children
Ooh.
with all his wife. And I came to learn my father was getting ready to marry the sixth wife, which means if he didn't die, he was going to continue having children because he died younger. So since supporting myself became so very harder, I had a sister who was here in America at that time. She came to school. She was at SNU, the Southern New Hampshire University. And she was the one who was paying also for my education back home. But she got to the point, my second year in college, she said she wasn't going to do that anymore. She need to help others to get high school diploma. At least I had already the high school diploma. So she needed to give other, kids the chance to finish also high school. So I said, fine.
I'm sorry. Let me cut you off. So you already had relatives in the States before you came over here.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
One of my sister.
Okay, and she was going to South. What's the name of that daggone school? Southern New Hampshire College.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Southern New Hampshire University.
Yeah, gotcha.
In Manchester.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah. So when I started now taking care of for myself financially, I needed a job. But let's say when I stopped school, I went to Rwanda to live with another sister who was teaching in high school there, French. I opened up the hair salon. So I'm always working, always creating my own job, always. And the reason is this. I was so protective of myself because in Congo, to be a girl, it's not that easy. Or to be a woman, it's not that easy. To get a job as a woman, it's so hard. And why? Because women are so abused sexually at workplace. And to be hired, you're going to have to sleep with somebody. Or to keep the job, you have to sleep with somebody often, which means your boss. And if you don't do that, you are not going to keep the job. So I never want to work for anybody. And even at church, where I got hurt so bad, I never expect to be hurt at church. That is another topic of being molested at church by the pastor who was supposed to be my vocal coach. And he became so abusive to me for years and years until I ran away from that church. So I needed to market myself to get a job because I need to pay rent and to support myself. That's how I finished my computer practice. I had my certificate in computer. Mm-hmm. And when the Second War started, I needed to get a job. So for me to get a job there, because at that time I was looking for a job even in the store, I couldn't get a job. So I had one of our neighbor in our hometown who was married with a rich man who had a school, and that's where I was learning computer at her school. So this new government needed a secretary. In Congo, we call it secretary. We don't call it aide like here in America. So we call it secretary. So at that when I was working there now, I got she said that she was gonna help me to get a job because people from that government needed secretaries. And that's when she connected me with one of the minister. I got a job there. But even that minister also abused me sexually. And I spoke so much in the book about that. Due now to my skills, they changed me. They sent me to work with the president of that new government. I became like a aide to him. So then we had a war again. So they start fighting between them. The same government. They start fighting between them. So my boss decided to go to another town in Kisangani. When he went to Kisangani, I was left behind in Goma because that's where I was living with my sister, and she had 4 children. But I was the one who was providing to pay rent, to buy food, to pay school fees for my sister's children. Her husband was just a loser. I don't even talk to him until today.
All right.
I don't talk to him until today.
Okay.
Because of what he was doing to my sister.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't accept things like that. So when my boss now left our hometown, and then he sent somebody after that he needed my help. So I followed him there. When I followed him there to Kisangani, that's when again we got attacked. And when we got attacked, I got now raped by our soldiers, the foreigners soldiers who were supposed to be protecting us, but they ended up raping me. And that was
traumatizing. So I could
really
just only imagine, because you have people supposed to protect you, have your best interest, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah.
So
and they knew who I was.
Yeah, and they didn't care.
They didn't care. As I described how they were laughing during the rape. And the hard part, when I went to report to their commander, he said, "They are soldiers. What do you want me to do?"
Yeah, and that's the thing that's very disheartening, because those people, they like to take advantage of the weak. They like to take advantage of people that don't have any protection or have anybody on their side. So they tend to abuse their power.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they end up doing a whole bunch of atrocious things to their own people, to their own community.
Yeah.
And that's the part that gets disheartening. So again, I can't stress this enough that I give you 100 thank yous for, coming out with this book and taking the time to be courageous and calling out the people who are doing these evil things to their own people, because it takes a lot. When people get taken advantage, it's a level of shame, embarrassment, or this thing that people just keep looking at you with that awkward eye. But, just off the fact that you came to my show, not even the show, you came out with this book, and later on we're going to continue on with Boss Lady News. You came out with this book and was able to tell this courageous story, and it needs to be told, because you're not the only one, but you're one of the few that's show no fear and able to call out the inhumane abuse and attacks they do to their own people, especially the women and children. Because I know they take advantage of both. Take advantage of the ladies, and then they get these young kids to be soldiers and teach them how to be evil. So I thank you again. It is like unbelievable. This is like a survivor story.
Yes.
And you are a true definition of a survivor. And we're going to have, we're not going to stop here. We're going to have part 2 upstairs with Boss Lady, because there's going to be a whole bunch of questions I wanted to ask. But for the most part, before we wrap this up, what do you want people to take out of your experience?
What I want to really people to take out of my experience is this. I've been going places to speak about my story. With my story, it's a story of so many, not only myself. I feel like women and children are not safe anywhere. I thought I will never get hurt at church, but I was hurt, sexually abused at church by a pastor I called a father. And he knew I was an orphan, and he abused me for years until I ran away. The war in Congo never been between Congolese, but it's the war caused by the outsiders. But what really hurt the most is that they used rape as a weapon. And we have to stop that. And that's why I decided to tell my story. Because using rape as a weapon, it's killing entire society. They infected so many by the diseases such as HIV. They did it knowing that they are infecting people, Yeah. So that's the reason when I decided to write my story, I was given several months to live. I was very sick. And I decided, I'm not going to die like an uneducated woman. I'm going to tell my story. The fight will continue with another person. But here I am, because that was in 2008. I was very sick.
Yeah.
Here I am. I'm still here, and I'm going to continue the fight. So the reason we have to fight the rape against women and children during the war, we have to keep them safe.
And that's the way we're going to end it. We're going to end it by saying we need to keep these women safe and make sure that they do not take advantage of. Between women and children, keep them all safe. Coco, again, thank you for coming to my show. Thank you for telling your story. Thank you for telling the truth. And it's not going to stop. We're going to continue this upstairs with Boss Lady News, because I got to get it all dressed up for that, which I don't even know I'll be able to make it on time because we're pressed for time. But, that's another conversation. But, thank you for telling your story. Ladies and gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Her name is Coco Ramazani. Sorry. Coco Ramazani.
Yes.
Yes. She has a book. Tell This to My Mother. It's a great book. It might have some tragic parts in the story, but it's also a story about redemption, survival, and, make sure that everybody, get a chance to hear her story. Coco, 100 thank you. Thank you. Much love. And you have an open door here at the Tape Deck. Anytime you want to come by the show, you let me know, and I got you, my friend.
You are welcome. And thank you so much, Michael, for having me. It was really a blessing meeting you at the gala.
Yes.
And I'm glad you took courage to come to talk to me, even if I was busy with the children's book that I was
you were all over the place. I had to catch you, so I caught you all over for those 30 seconds, and I was like, please, you got to come to my show and tell the story.
Thank you.
Man.
Thank you so much.
All right, y'all. Listen, y'all, this your boy, Cuban Mic. You've been listening to 102.9 Tape Deck. When I get off on my anti-communist tip, I try to bring people to the show, such as Coco, to tell their story. And please, have an open open ear, open heart, and pay attention to these stories, man. You could catch me here every Friday from 6 to 7. I'll catch y'all same tape deck time, same tape deck channel. Peace and love, y'all. One.